what turns out to be a perfect Saturday in New York, the afternoon focus of the sports world will lie a few miles east of Manhattan. We're at Belmont Park in the Belmont Stakes. There'll be a bid for an accomplishment not seen in 36 years. Horse racing's Triple Crown. California Chrome was bred for a mere $10,000. He came to Kentucky as the favorite and won the Derby. He came to Pimlico as the favorite and won the Preakness. And now, here in New York, trainer Art Sherman hopes his horse can capture the final jewel of the Triple Crown. The colt's owners are the distinctive pair of Steve Coburn and Perry Martin. They're not billionaires or even millionaires like so many others in the game, but instead, just two men who felt they had a special horse long before anybody else realized it. Meanwhile, jockey Victor Espinoza began riding California Chrome this past December, and he's won 6 straight races aboard the colt since. Now, he and California Chrome go for what would be their biggest win. It's coming up, a bid for the Triple Crown at the 146th Belmont Stakes. Welcome you to Belmont Park. We had ideal conditions for the Derby in Louisville and for the Preakness in Baltimore. And now the run for the Triple Crown concludes on a very fine day in New York. The question is, of course, will the result also be the same? 12 previous times since 1978, a horse has won both the Derby and the Preakness. But in each of those instances, whether it's been by a nose or a length, whether foiled by injury, a poor start, a questionable ride, or maybe just some bad luck, there's been no Belmont win and thus no Triple Crown. Now, a lot has changed in racing over that time, but the allure of capturing all 3 races endures. And now California Chrome takes his shot at ending the longest span ever without a Triple Crown. 36 years. Perhaps that very fact defies the odds. And with long lines at the betting windows at Belmont, here are today's odds. Many folks betting on California Chrome just to have the ticket as a souvenir. The odds they're getting on that bet right now are 4 to 5. Wicked Strong, who finished 4th at the Derby, then sat out the Preakness, is back and at 5 to 1. And Ride on Curlin, the Preakness runner-up, also certainly viewed as a threat today, is 7 to 1. We, of course, will be taking you right up through the race with coverage from every corner of Belmont Park. And to start us off, we turn to Josh Elliott. Josh.
All right, thanks, Bob. Of course, so much to get to today, though indeed, all eyes, and rightfully so, are on California Chrome and his West Coast connections. To that end, we talked with Art Sherman and Victor Espinoza, for whom, of course, this return to New York holds special meaning for both. Then there are Chrome's 10 challengers and their camps, very likely the only ones here today not hoping to see history made. And we'll look closely at almost 4 decades of cursed history here at Belmont Park, where spoilers always lurk. But for now, much more on the man of the hour, and for that we go to you, Bob Newmeyer.
All right, Josh, you know, with the Triple Crown on the line, the plan was really very simple. Get California Chrome acclimated as quickly as possible to this quirky Belmont Park main track. Well, for about 2.5 weeks, he's been kind of like your neighborhood mailman. He gets up at the crack of dawn and goes right to work. And work for him means long, slow gallops designed to keep him fit for this date with destiny. He looks good. His coat a shiny California Chrome. Here's Kenny Rice.
All right, thanks, Bob. Art Sherman's family left Brooklyn when he was 7 years old. He had never been back until Thursday this week. He said he didn't recognize the place. Oh, but people recognized him as California Chrome's trainer. So 70 years later, this New Yorker returns home. And what a homecoming it could be today for Art Sherman. Let's go to Donna Brothers.
Well, Kenny, Victor Espinoza is coming back to familiar territory, too. He's one of only 5 jockeys to come back with a second chance to win the Triple Crown. He was here 12 years ago on the Speedy War Emblem, who won the Derby and then the Preakness by leading every step of the way, only to stumble at the start in the Belmont Stakes. He finished 8th. Victor Espinoza is hoping for a better start today and certainly a better finish. Let's welcome in Lafitte Pincay III.
Donna, scripts have been written, movies produced about this very notion. Cowboys in New York City. That's a story with California Chrome's owners Steve Coburn and Perry Martin. Coburn had never even been to Manhattan. There he is, high atop 30 Rock. Great view of the Empire State Building, taking pictures in the lobby of the Empire State Building, and of course ringing the bell last Thursday at the New York Stock Exchange. As for Perry Martin, he did not attend the Preakness. He did not go on the guided tour of Manhattan, but he is here today, pulling for his big colt in the biggest race of his life. Let's say hello to Mike Battaglia.
Well, it's all about Chrome, and it should be, but before you go to the windows and bet that retirement money, remember, the Belmont has been very cruel to its favorites. The last 10 years, only one favorite, a Fleet Alex, has won. The average win payoff, over $32. This is not just a recent trend either. It's been 36 years since Affirmed won the Triple Crown. In that span, that 36-year span, only 5 favorites have managed to win the Belmont. Let's check in with Carolyn Mano.
Mike, it's too late. I already bet on Chrome. I like him to win the race. Normally on a good day, a bettor will come over here to the ticket windows. They'll cash in this sheet of paper for some actual cash. But this is the rare exception where this paper is more valuable than the green stuff. If California Chrome can get it done, this becomes a keepsake. And for the first time this year, you can actually get the horse's name on the ticket, not just the number itself. Bob, I have a couple of these for you. I'm going to frame them. You can put them in your man cave, okay? But don't sell them. They're for you.
How extraordinarily thoughtful of you. For what it may be worth, we checked. Winning tickets on Affirmed from 1978 go on eBay for between $150 and $200. Our coverage just getting started here at Belmont Park. When we come back, more on what California Chrome will need to do to complete his run to the Triple Crown as the Belmont Stakes continues. Triple Crown a possibility, weather perfect, and thus a huge crowd today at Belmont. Well in excess of 100,000 will be here. A good number of the railbirds actually traveling by rail, taking the Long Island Railroad to Belmont. Meanwhile, the Triple Crown trophy did not take mass transit. Handled with white glove reverence, it arrived a little after 10 a.m. Well, when you've been around horse racing as long as Tom Hammond has, you've seen virtually everything, but not, at least since 1978, a Triple Crown. As the anticipation continues to build, we go now to our main man, Mr. Tom Hammond.
All right, thank you, Bob. And I was here in 1978, that great race between Affirmed and Alydar, and who would have guessed we'd have the long, dry spell after that. And if California Chrome is to become the 12th Triple Crown winner, he'll have to earn it. Not only will he attempt a 1.5 miles on an unfamiliar track, but it will be his 3rd testing race in 5 weeks, and he'll face several rested rivals. In fact, should he win, he will have faced the greatest number of challengers overall than any Triple Crown winner has ever faced. 37. 10 rivals for Chrome today in the 1.5 mile test of the champion. And here's how they'll line up in the starting gate. Medal Count, who is 8th in the Kentucky Derby. California Chrome, his 7th straight win, gives him the Triple Crown. Matterhorn, 4th in the Peter Pan here at Belmont. Commanding Curve, 2nd in the Derby. Right on Curlin, 7th in the Derby, but coming back to be 2nd in the Preakness. Matuzak, 2nd in the Tessio at Pimlico. Samrot, 5th in the Derby. Commissioner, 2nd in the Peter Pan. Wicked Strong, 4th in the Kentucky Derby. General A-Rod, he's been in the Derby where he was 11th, and in the Preakness where he finished 4th. And Tonalist on the outside, winner of the Peter Pan Stakes here at Belmont Park. And we welcome in our analyst Randy Moss and Hall of Fame jockey Jerry Bailey, who won a couple of Belmont Stakes. And the question all America wants to know, Jerry, can Chrome do it?
Well, he's undoubtedly, by virtue of winning the Kentucky Derby and the Preakness, the best 3-year-old in the country to date. He's already beaten half this field and a couple of them twice. And since coming to Belmont Park, he's training beautifully. But the question remains, can he get the extra 1/4 mile? Can he win the 1.5 miles? He's going to have to run further than he ever has, probably better than he ever has. And his jockey, Victor Espinosa, will again have to ride another flawless race.
And Randy, there have only been 11 Triple Crown winners, so he's racing against history.
One of the toughest challenges in all the sports. And when you go back and look at the Derby Preakness winners since '78 that failed, there are differences but also similarities. In each instance, owner, trainer, jockey were very confident their horse would be the one to make history. Of course, they were all heavy betting favorites, and 3, as a matter of fact, went off at a shorter price than California Chrome's current 3 to 5. Spectacular bid. Smarty Jones and Big Brown were each 1-5. The public thought they were almost unbeatable, but of course they weren't. So history would seem to be against California Chrome, but as we all know, he has beaten the odds his whole life.
Well, what kind of day is it for California Chrome? By all accounts, he's enjoyed his stay in New York City. And right now out on Long Island on Belmont Park, where he was on the track to stretch his legs before 6 this morning. Then back to his home, the stall and barn at 26. He'll be summoned to the paddock sometime around 6:11 p.m. Victor Espinoza, his jockey, has spent the day in the jockey's room, and he'll be joining his mount in the paddock. The race starts right in front of the grandstand, that testing mile and a half. California Chrome and his fans hope the day ends with him in the winner's circle just after 7 o'clock. Let's go now to Bob Newmeyer.
With our chairman trainer of the California Chrome, have you thought much about the historical significance, Art, of winning the Triple Crown?
Oh, I sure have. You know, there's a lot of great horses have won this race, and God, I'd be honored to be among one of the recipients of this honor. You know what I mean? Winning the Triple Crown. I think it's every trainer's dream.
You have a little memento, I see, of a Triple Crown gone by.
Yes, it's a momentum of Assault, who was one of the Triple Crown winners years ago. It's like 70 years old, this piece. The man that gave it to me, of course, wants it back, but he says, carry this in your pocket for this race.
I see you're wearing your lucky suit as well, so you got the coin in the suit, you're ready to go.
I got everything going for me right now.
Good luck, Art.
Thank you, I appreciate it.
Here's Tom Hammond.
Well, we'll see if that Assault emblem gives him any luck. Triple Crown winner in 1946, owned by the King Ranch. Well, horses are on the track now for the 121st edition of the Metropolitan Handicap, $1,250,000 purse. And there is Palace Malice. Palace Malice is the 6-5 favorite at the moment. As you see the other odds for this race, second choice at 4-1 is Normandy Invasion. Of course, that's one day after the 70th anniversary of the Normandy Invasion in France. Well, so those are the odds in the Metropolitan Handicap. Coming up next, featuring Palace Malice, last year's Belmont Stakes winner.
They're off in the Belmont Stakes. And it's Palace Malice who has taken the lead. It is going to be Palace Malice and Mike Smith in the Belmont Stakes.
Check out NBC Sports Live Extra, available on NBCSports.com and on your mobile and tablet device. Watch a live stream of today's race with alternate camera angles, including one dedicated to California Chrome. Visit NBCSports.com/live extra for more. Aerial coverage provided by Goodyear, the odds-on favorite for superior performance. Goodyear, more driven. Let's look at the odds for the Met Mile now. One of the mainstays in the New York racing schedule. Normally run on Memorial Day, but switched to Belmont Stakes Day in what is a great day of racing, maybe the greatest ever aside from the Breeders' Cup. Palace Malice remains the 6-5 favorite. And this is a Breeders' Cup win and you're in race, and that Breeders' Cup Challenge Series will continue throughout the summer and fall right here on NBC and NBCSN. Each horse who wins a challenge race is automatically in the Breeders' Cup World Championships in their division on October 31st and November 1st at Santa Anita. There's the list of races, some of the greatest races in America. And speaking of the Breeders' Cup, here's the Breeders' Cup winner, Golden Sense, who last year won the Breeders' Cup Mile.
Yeah, Golden Sense, after that Breeders' Cup Mile win, went to New York to Aqueduct, was beaten pretty severely in the Cigar Mile, has rested since then, has been training beautifully. He could be the speed of the race, assuming he breaks from the gate very well.
But that dirt mile was around 2 turns. This is a 1 turn, which would seem to be even more to his advantage here at Belmont Park. The 1.5 mile oval, long run down that backstretch.
And Victor Espinoza, California Chrome's jockey, has a mount in this race. He's aboard Capo Bastoni.
Capo Bastoni hasn't won a race since last August at Saratoga in the King's Bishop, going shorter, going 7 furlongs instead of the 8 furlongs of this particular race. He comes from very, very far back. If there is a very hot pace and he throws his good kick in, you could see him coming through the stretch late.
But there is Palace Malice, not only last year's Belmont winner, but making a bid now for champion older horse. He's having an excellent start to the 2014 campaign.
3 for 3. He might be the best dirt horse in America right now. If not, he's way up high on the list. Better this year than last year when he won the Belmont. But the #1 post position at this distance is a big disadvantage. Todd Pletcher almost got sick to his stomach when he drew post #1. So it's going to be a big challenge here for John Velasquez.
The reason it's a bad post is if all the field or a lot of the field collapses in front of him, his jockey John Velasquez could have a difficult time navigating through traffic to try and get that running lane through the stretch.
And here's why this is a particularly huge race for Palace Malice. I mean, he's proven he can win at 1.5 miles in major competition. But American breeders in Kentucky put more value nowadays on winning at 1 mile than they do winning at 1.5 miles. So this is big on his resume with breeders to be able to win this Metropolitan handicap at 1 mile.
Palace Malice and the Dogwood Stable Silks. Remember that scene in the winner's circle last year with winning jockey Mike Smith and Cott Campbell put together Dogwood Stable. Loading into the gate for the Met Mile. The purse is $1,250,000. The 121st edition and a Breeders' Cup win, and you're in the mile division.
And as you would expect, some outstanding horses in here. Normandy Invasion shaking it up clearly now. Moreno.
Plenty of speed up front, plenty of good closers in this race. So top to bottom, you should see a fairly competitive race from gate to wire.
All right, with a call of the Met Mile, let's go to Larry Colmus.
Thanks very much, Tom. And there goes Capo Bastoni and Victor Espinoza into the starting gate, shaking it up, and Rosie Napravnik will be the last one. Palace Malice is 6-5 as the last horse goes into the starting gate. All in line here as soon as shaking it up goes in. In the gate, ready for the start here of the Met Mile. They're off in the Metropolitan Handicap. Golden Sense had a very good start. Broadway Empire's got early speed too, and Romance came out running in 3rd position. Moreno is 4th as they run up the backstretch. Then Scarly Charlie. Palace Malice is down on the inside, and he's 3.5 lengths off the lead and pinned in at the rail as they get their run down the backstretch. Then Vijack was 5 lengths off the lead. Clearly now's on the far outside. Shaking it up is after that. Then comes Declan's Warrior in between horses. Normandy Invasion and Capo Bastoni and Victor Espinoza at the back. A 23 flat opening quarter mile. And now the field moves into the far turn, and it is Broadway Empire and Scott Stevens out there on a 2-length lead. Golden Sense is 2nd. Romance is 3rd. Palace Malice with a clear run 4th. He's within 3.5 lengths of the lead, and then clearly now to the outside. Vijack is down at the rail, and they're being followed by Scarly Charlie. Normandy Invasion is moving up on the far outside, 5 lengths off the lead. Broadway Empire has been joined up front now by Golden Sense, and the two of them will turn for home together. Broadway Empire, Golden Sense on the outside. Romance is 3rd. Palace Malice right in contention behind horses. Clearly now as they're on the outside, they're into the stretch, and it's Golden Sense. Golden Sense coming to the 8th pole, and he's got the lead by 2. Palace Malice is charging through on the inside. Golden Sense and Palace Malice. Palace Malice has come up the rail, and Palace Malice and John Velasquez have won the Met Mile, beating Golden Sense and Romance, and then came shaking it up. The final time was 1 minute 33.56 seconds. So Palace Malice continues to be at the top of the older horse division.
Well, he's been brilliant this year, and John Velasquez with a well-timed ride got him in the final strides to victory over Golden Sense. Palace Malice, the first Belmont winner to return at age 4 and win the Met Mile in 56 years, joining Gallant Man, who did it in 1957 and 58.
Palace Malice got away from the gate just so. John Velasquez, his jockey, moved up, waited for room as they approached the top of the stretch, waited even further till they hit mid-stretch and finally found a seam to bust through.
You almost saw a perfect example of why that rail can be so bad. He almost didn't get out.
Well, much more to come here in New York with the anticipation continuing to build. They've seen history made before here at Belmont Park. It's where a thoroughbred can become a legend and where owners, trainers, and jockeys can reach their sports pinnacle. Today in the Belmont Stakes, California Chrome runs to become the first Triple Crown winner in 36 years.
Just outside New York City on Long Island sits Belmont Park, where anticipation is rising with a bid for history perhaps in the offing in the final jewel of horse racing's Triple Crown.
Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to Belmont Park, but what people think might be a very historic race day.
And they're up. They still talk about that finish on the home stretch of this track.
Affirmed and Alliar heads apart.
How the Chestnut Colt edged out his great rival to win this race.
Affirmed's got a nose in front as they come onto the wire.
And earn horse racing's most coveted trophy.
You must be so happy.
I am. I can't believe it.
It was 1978 at Belmont Park. The champion's name was Affirmed, and no one watching knew then how much time would pass before they'd see another horse win the Triple Crown. Now today, they're wondering if another Chestnut Colt, this one with a blaze of chrome across his face, might finally end the wait. After 36 years of sure bets,
Supercharm has lost the lead.
Roar Emblem has given way. Near misses.
Funny side has dropped back to third. We'll play it. It's too close to call.
And at times, tantalizing spectacle.
Can Smarty Jones hold on? Birdstone wins the Belmont Stakes.
They're wondering if the small-time partners who dream big could be the owners to do it.
California Chrome shines bright in the Kentucky Derby.
If the old horseman who worked so long in dusty obscurity could be the trainer.
Do you non-believers believe this man can train a horse now?
And if the revitalized rider who'd fallen from the sports elite could be the jockey.
California Chrome has won the Preakness.
In New York and far beyond, they're wondering if California Chrome can be the next racehorse to finally win the Triple Crown. And if maybe this will be the next race they'll never stop talking about. New York is a big stage, befitting a race with big stakes. And on Long Island today, at sprawling Belmont Park in the race known appropriately as the Test of the Champion, a crowd they're currently estimating at 120,000 has flooded onto the grounds, many of them hoping and wagering that this is the year that the long wait for a Triple Crown finally ends and California Chrome can prevail over the field. Bob Costas at the start of the stretch at the track they call Big Sandy, where the field in the Belmont Stakes will turn for home right behind us in the midst of the longest race that any of them have ever run. And certainly that distance, 1.5 miles, has been one of the factors that's contributed to the length of time since we've seen a Triple Crown winner. And also, it's made it all the more difficult to figure out what will happen when they finally go off today. In any case, they came here to watch and to wager, and the odds on California Chrome sit right now at 4-5 as we go back to Tom Hammond. Tom.
All right, Bob, on an 83-degree afternoon at Belmont Park, they're racing for $1,500,000, $800,000 to the winner. But, of course, the run for history, more important than the first at this point. Fast track for the Belmont Stakes today. And the results of the Metropolitan Handicap are now official. Palace Malice looking so strong, paid $470. Gave John Velasquez a record-breaking 5th Met Mile victory, breaking the tie he had with Jerry Bailey at 4. Sorry, Jerry. As the exacta paid $29.60. Well, sorry we had to break your record.
You want a tissue?
They all fall. They all fall.
California Chrome, victories in the Derby and Preakness. What is it that makes this horse so special?
He's got a lot of good tools for a jockey to use, Tom. In that little equine toolbox is speed, the ability to make multiple moves, and I think probably most important, the ability to relax between those moves. He can break from the gate, and jockey Victor Espinosa can position him anywhere he wants. On the far turn, he's at Churchill Downs. He wasn't more than a couple off the lead. As he straightens out in the stretch, the ability to accelerate and separate from his field is probably his most dominant tool. He did the same thing in the Preakness. At the start, Victor Espinosa sent him out of the gate. He even thought about going to the lead as he goes down the stretch the first time. He looks out and he sees another horse, Pablo Del Monte, going for it. So he eases Chrome back just a little bit, steers him to the outside, allowing the speed horse to cross over in front of him. And voila, he goes from a speed horse to a stalker. Now he relaxes until Victor calls on him, turning for home. As they straighten up in the stretch in the Preakness, again, that acceleration that makes him so deadly in the first two races. Tough combination to beat and a push-button horse for a rider.
Well, he will have some challenges today, Randy. Tell us about some of those.
Well, one is that he's up against an armada of fresh horses. I mean, he's running, of course, for the third time in 5 weeks. But Chrome will be facing 4 horses today who ran in the Kentucky Derby, skipped the Preakness, and now are better rested for the Belmont. Now, this is nothing new. Only one Belmont winner in the last 12 years competed in the Derby and the Preakness. So it has become a very popular and a very effective strategy.
Okay, if somebody does upset California Chrome, who might we expect to do it?
Well, Wicked Strong loves New York. He's in great form. He's training exceptionally well. The biggest hang-up with Wicked Strong is that he can get wicked nervous. He doesn't like crowds, and there are 100,000 screaming fans here. So trainer Jimmy Jerkins is going to put cotton in his ears and hope that that makes what's going on inside his head a little more tranquil.
It could also be right on Curlin, who was so far back in the Kentucky Derby, and his trainer Billy Gowan changed jockeys, went to Joel Rosario, and got the dream trip in the Preakness to finish second. Actually, he was closer than any other horse has been to California Chrome all year.
But they'll all have to deal with that mile-and-a-half distance. Let's go to Donna Brothers.
3 weeks ago when California Chrome won the mile and 3/16 Preakness Stakes, he would have finished right here. 2 weeks before that, when he won the Kentucky Derby, he had to go a 1/16 of a mile further. That race would have seen him finishing at the red and white pole here at Belmont Park, the quarter pole. Today, he's going to have to go another quarter of a mile, or the length of the stretch here at Belmont Park, with 100,000 plus fans cheering him on at the top of their lungs. It's a pretty tough task for anybody. Let's go to Kenny Rice.
All right, thanks, Donna. All eyes keep turning up this way in the box seats at the men of the hour, Steve Coburn and Perry Martin, the most famous horse owners right now in the country, the owners, of course, of California Chrome. They join me now. Steve, we've been here before. You're wearing the same outfits. You've kind of got the same groove and superstition going as the Derby and Preakness.
Well, I had them laundered, so, you know, it's all good.
Don't change what's working.
No, if it's working, you know, don't change it. It's working.
Perry, what has this run been like for you guys these last 5 weeks?
It's been pretty hectic. It's nice to get back to work and actually feel normal. So we like to take time off from our vacation out here and go back to work, and feels good.
It's a working vacation this week. I want to ask you quickly, how many autographs have you two signed? Because I've seen you at least sign 24 since we've been up here for about 10 minutes.
Well, I've signed 12,000. Perry signed 12.
12,012. It is that kind of partnership, but it seems to work perfectly, doesn't it?
I think it's well balanced, yeah.
It is well balanced, and they are here with a chance at history today, Tom.
All right, Kenny. Steve needs to come out of his shell. I'm a little worried about him. Here he is earlier today in leading cheers after signing the autographs to so many fans in attendance that are homies, fans of Steve and California Chrome. America's National Championship returns to Pinehurst as golf's best take on golf's toughest test, the U.S. Open. Coverage begins Thursday live at 3 Eastern on NBC, part of NBC Sports Championship season. The scene here, entertainment taking place all day here at Belmont Park, and a huge crowd. As we said earlier, about 120,000 or so are here. And there's the star of the moment. They all came to see California Chrome, and so much had to go right for him to become the thoroughbred he is today. If not for a bold dream and a little luck of the draw, he'd have a different name and perhaps an entirely different persona.
Steve Coburn and Perry Martin partnered up 5 years ago, investing some money to buy and breed a horse no one else wanted.
This is Love the Chase. This is our $8,000 horse that's given us $1 million baby.
Good girl. Oh, good
We
girl.
bought Love the Chase for $8,000. And we were told that we're real dumbasses if we got in the racing game.
I looked at Steve and stuck out my hand. I said, you want to go partners? We'll be dumbass partners. And shook hands, and the rest is history.
We needed a logo, and I thought, let's put this jackass on the back of the silks. And he's got 2 white buck teeth, and he's got little eyes. It's really cute.
3 weeks before California Chrome was born. And I woke up and I told my wife, I said, Carolyn, I had a dream. It's going to be a colt. It's going to have 4 white stocking feet and a big blaze face.
I just kind of said, yeah, all right, whatever. When we came and I looked at that baby and I thought, oh my goodness, here's your dream.
I told my wife, this horse is going to do something big. I don't know exactly what it is, but he's going to do some big things.
Now the foal needed a name, so Coburn and his wife, along with Martin and his, met for lunch one day near Sacramento and enlisted the help of their waitress.
Steve took off his 10-gallon cowboy hat, and we all wrote down a name that we thought would fit the horse. Allison reached way up and pulled them out one at a time.
That day, it was just a game pulling names out of a hat, and, you know, the name that came out first was California Chrome.
Steve put California Chrome's name into the hat, and I think maybe he slipped the waitress $20 so that one would come out. The name I put in the hat was C. Bizquick. It's sort of a sad little twist.
At 3 years old, California Chrome is all grown up now with a personality ready-made for headlines. From the nasal strips he's accustomed to wearing to the way he exits trailers, offering a rear view his opponents are familiar with.
Once he gets to the starting gate, does he know the deal? Does he know what's up?
Not maybe. I never asked him, but...
Absolutely romping in under Victor Espinosa.
If you'll watch this horse when he runs, his ears are doing this. He's listening to Victor, and Victor's talking to him. I don't know what language, but he's talking to him.
And most of the times I yell at him. I don't talk to him, I yell at him. I had to teach him Spanish too.
I want to tell you about Chrome. He doesn't panic, and he's got a lot of heart. You got to run by him to beat him, and I just don't think they're going to be able to do that.
And aren't we all happy that he didn't get named C. Biscuit?
So is he.
He's had smooth sailing through the Triple Crown so far, but he does have a few little quirks.
Yeah, he's got ants in his pants in the gate. I mean, he never seems to stop moving. He rocks back and forth. He's probably the most valuable rocking horse in America. The last time he was beaten, he was rocking. He happened to be rocking backwards when the gate opens. You see the result there. He spotted the rest of the horses almost 6 lengths. That was the last time he was beaten. He finished 6th that day. Now we fast forward to the Kentucky Derby. He still moves around there a lot. New jockey Victor Espinosa at that time got along with him really good. He lets him move around a little bit, but at the last moment he does enough to straighten him out. It's better in the Preakness, as we see right here. His feet don't move that much, but his head still is moving around. Victor really has done a really good job of straightening him out at the last moment, so he gets that good break.
Well, a couple of days after the Preakness, nasal gate broke out.
Here's a nasal strip. The New York stewards reversed the policy to allow California Chrome and any other horse that wants to wear one to put this across their nose. Some believe it helps breathing. The manufacturer says it may have other value. There's a look at California Chrome right there wearing one. Some people have wondered if this might be Chrome's secret weapon, because it was widely reported he was a perfect 6 for 6 since they began using this. However, that is not the case. Go back to November 1st, Santa Anita post-parade, before a race in which California Chrome finished 6th right before his winning streak, and you can see he has a nasal strip on.
Well, they've had so much success, though. This don't change it now. He will go to the post with the nasal strip today. There's the scene at Belmont Park. And in the jockey's room, Victor Espinosa, his chance at being a man everybody will remember, fast approaching in the Belmont Stakes. The late Chick Anderson with the calls of the last 3 Triple Crown winners. And, of course, we were spoiled in the decade of the 70s with 3 Triple Crown winners, Secretariat, Seattle Slew, and Affirmed. And their jockeys are on hand earlier today signing autographs. Ron Turcotte, who's aboard Secretariat. Jean Cruguet, the rider of Seattle Slew. And, of course, Steve Cawthon, who piloted Affirmed to the Triple Crown. And here are the Belmont Stakes odds as we go favorites to long shots. California Chrome at 4-5. Wicked Strong second choice. He's 5-1. Right on Curlin at 7-1. And Commanding Curve is 8. And the rest of them are all in double digits. So the favorite is California Chrome, still at 4-5 at the moment, trying to be the 12th Triple Crown winner. And his trainer, 77-year-old Art Sherman. He's had a rough time. Was getting so much attention. He's gotten not much sleep. Let's go to Josh.
To be sure, for Sherman, in fact, and jockey Victor Espinoza, Tom, this return to New York is especially meaningful. For Sherman, it's a homecoming some 7 decades in the making. For Espinoza, a shot at redemption, and for both, it is an opportunity for which they have long been waiting.
Well, here we are.
Art Sherman was born just a few miles from Belmont Park in Brooklyn.
My whole neighborhood. It's pretty cool that I'm back here. First time in 70 years.
At the age of 7, his family moved to California, which has long been his home base. First as a stable hand, then a jockey, and then as a trainer for the last 35 years.
A nice little horse.
These days, Sherman Racing is a family business with Art and his sons, Alan and Steve. It's a small, if successful, stable. But until now, Sherman had never had a horse ever reach a Triple Crown race.
What, Chrome? Hey, you know you're the rock star now. I was always feeling like nobody gave me the respect that I should have got. I can train with anybody. I just never had the big guns that I would have loved to have until Chrome come.
And away they go. California Chrome moves slowly.
The California Chrome won just 2 of his first 6 races, so Sherman changed jockeys to Victor Espinoza, who's now ridden Chrome to 6 straight wins.
You saw something in this horse that maybe a lot of people didn't. What was it?
A lot of talent. He's a good-looking horse, yeah. I like his face, but I think it's the most important thing for me, the way he moves. And I see a lot of potential in him.
He does look good.
Espinoza has known the feeling of a great horse beneath him. In 2002, he rode for the Triple Crown aboard War Emblem, but a stumble out of the Belmont gates ended those hopes, for the race had barely begun.
War Emblem was off near the back of the pack.
What do you think about when you think back to that, Belmont?
Well, I think I have a second chance for this time. I mean, last time, out of the gate, everything it just went away.
Now the jockey and trainer are back in New York. For Espinoza, it's a rare second chance at the history that escaped him 12 years ago.
What was it like to see this horse, to get a shot on this horse, and to have done what you've done on this horse?
It's like you come alive, you know? It's like you're in the ocean drowning, and the next thing I know, you have. That's how I feel right now.
And 70 years after leaving town, Art Sherman has come home to chase his sport's greatest prize.
I get a little emotional when I think about it, you know. I'm very close to my kids. It would mean a lot to me. I don't know, it's a legacy. I'd like to leave them that. And I hope they do as well as I did in this game.
As Tom mentioned, Art Sherman, like all of Chrome's human connections, has seemed understandably weary during his homecoming, saying he is glad this race is finally upon us. And for he and Espinoza and all the rest, unimaginable joy and relief could be now just a mile and a half away. Tom?
I think all the fatigue will go away if a victory comes up in a little while.
Yeah.
Huh? Victor Espinoza has not had a very good record at Belmont Park, though he did win a race here on Thursday and one on Friday. But this track is so different for horse and rider.
It is, and Victor's record isn't very good because he doesn't ride here, but that presents kind of a problem for him. because it's half again as big as any other track in America. I mean, most tracks are a mile, like the Churchill Downs. They're coming off the Kentucky Derby. It's a flat mile around. When jockeys typically start making their move on that far turn, they have 3 furlongs or 660 yards left to go. The same at the Preakness. But when you come to the Belmont, it's half again as big at 1.5 miles. So geographically, if the jockeys feel like going into that turn and making the move, that's a half mile. That's 880 yards, 220 yards further than what they're normal. So they could come up 1/8 of a mile short before they hit the wire. A third of the races are run on turns at the Derby and the Preakness, where over half of those, the races run on these big, wide, sweeping turns here. So you can get fooled very easily. I rode almost 9,000 races here, and I had to check myself as I went around those sweeping turns.
Well, yeah, jockeys mistiming their moves. Real quiet comes to mind.
Jerry and I have debated that race more than any other. I mean, many believe the Kid DeSormo cost Real Quiet the 1998 Belmont and thus the Triple Crown by making one of those early moves at Belmont Park. Victory Gallop caught him at the wire, beat him a nostril, the closest near miss in Triple Crown history. But it's also a fact, I think, the Real Quiet wasn't suited for 1.5 miles. Victory Gallop had one of the finest last quarter miles in Belmont Stakes history, and Gary Stevens still professes his ride on Victory Gallop was the best of his career.
And Jerry, in 2004, a lot of people blamed you for the defeat of Smarty Jones.
A lot did, but the reality is, as a jockey on the track, it doesn't matter what you're chasing, history or not, or who you're chasing. If you see a weakness in your competitor, you attack it. And Smarty Jones' weakness was that he got ranked during the middle of the race, especially today. So I, on the purple and gold silks, took a middle run at him, trying to beat him that way, because I couldn't beat him in the Preakness. The end result, and another horse took a little bit of run on him, and he came up empty. Now, whether it was my fault or not, a lot of people said it was, but Smarty Jones wasn't able to get the distance.
He did the same thing the year before.
On Empire Maker, the exact same thing at the exact same place in almost identical fractions, and it worked for me that time. So sometimes you're right, sometimes you're wrong.
Well, let's go to Bob Costas.
Well, Tom, as you well know, the date was June 10th, 1978, when affirmed with 18-year-old Steve Coughlin aboard, beat his great rival Alydar by a head here at Belmont Park, and that was the last time we saw a Triple Crown winner. Steve Coughlin is now 54, long retired as a rider, but still in the business as a breeder of horses. Good to see you, Steve.
Good to be here, Bob.
Talk about riding high. You have the Triple Crown winner, and the year before at 17, you're Sports Illustrated Sportsman of the Year. Talk about peaking early, huh?
It was a good ride. Yeah, it was a great time in my life. Obviously, you know, I was doing exactly what I wanted to do, what I dreamed of doing, and obviously getting on a horse like Affirmed at such a young age was, you know, a huge boost to my career, and, you know, what every jockey dreams of.
A dozen horses, since you did it aboard Affirmed, a dozen horses have come to this point. Right. None has been able to complete it. Can California Chrome break that streak?
I think he's got a great chance. He reminds me a lot of Affirmed in many ways. He's got natural speed. You know, Victor can put him anywhere he wants to in the race. And up to, you know, at least a 1.25 miles, he's proven that he's just better than these horses. Obviously, you know, when you get to the Belmont Stakes, nobody's been 1.5 miles. So, you know, we won't know until they run the race. But, you know, what I've seen so far, I don't see why he can't stay 1.5 miles as well as any of the other horses in the race.
Dwayne Lucas, who has had 14 horses win Triple Crown races, or has won 14 times in Triple Crown races, says the formula for a modern Triple Crown winner to sweep all three is a superior horse in a year of ordinary competition. Is that what we have here?
You know, I don't know that the competition is stellar, but I just think that California Chrome just may be a freak racehorse. You know, he just may be special. He, you know, the Derby, the time wasn't that great, but he came back and ran, you know, a good time, a great race in the Preakness. And to me, although it looked like, you know, Right on Curlin was maybe catching him, I think he was idling a little bit in front for me. I think Victor won that easier than it maybe it looked. So, you know, to me, this horse could even still be on the improve. From what I've heard from the inside, he's actually still gaining weight. He might be thriving on his races, and you know, he just may be one of those ultra special horses.
Steve, we're going to take a look at Affirmed's plaque among the other Triple Crown winners here at Belmont Park. Tremendous memories, a high point for you.
It is. I mean, to me, there's never been a better race than the 1978 Belmont. It was you know, a great rivalry. Affirmed and Alydar had been rivals at 2 years old. You know, it carried on right through their 3-year-old year, through the Triple Crown races. There were not 3 better races, you know, in the Triple Crown, and to finish with a race like the Belmont, you know, couldn't be better.
True test of the champion, and you had to beat another great horse in Alydar 3 times to do it.
Yeah.
Good to see you, Steve.
Thank you.
The focus is on California Chrome here, obviously, but also the field of other contenders are racing to play spoiler at Belmont Park, including Rajiv Mirage aboard Wicked Strong, who finished 4th in the Derby. John Velasquez on Ride on Curlin, trained by Bronco Billy Gowan. And then there's Joel Rosario on the new shooter Tonalist. All part of the cast racing for an upset in this year's Belmont.
California Chrome will try to become the first horse in 36 years to win the Triple Crown.
36 years is long enough. Let's go, California Chrome.
You've waited for things longer than that.
Good luck, California Chrome. Get that Triple Crown. Go, California Chrome!
California Chrome, bring it home.
All right, California Chrome.
Go California Chrome.
California Chrome, do your thing.
Go, California Chrome.
Go get the Triple Crown. You can do it!
If California Chrome wins this weekend, I'll be popping champagne, and if he loses, I'll be pouring one out for my chromie. So good luck, Double C. I'll be pulling for you.
36 years, really? Enough's enough. Go California Chrome.
From the FTNY, good luck, California Chrome.
Hopefully you win the Triple Crown. I won it 2 years ago, so let's do it.
Well, fans all across America have become Chromies, fans of California Chrome, including Shaquille O'Neal. Look at this tweet sent by Shaq, dressed up like a jockey. Here we go, baby. It might take a Clydesdale for Shaq to be the jockey of. Let's go to Josh.
All right, Tom. Well, for the better part of 4 decades, horse racing has seen the Triple Crown go unclaimed. But that history could be written anew by day's end. Of course, as we know with history, at any point here at Belmont, the spoilers are lurking.
Every casual racing fan, every casual sports fan, the 120,000 plus who will be here, the millions more watching at home, they're all going to be hoping to see some history made. What's it like to be one of the horses that could suddenly ruin it?
Well, I'll tell you what, if they give me the trophy, I don't mind the booing. Oh, you know, somebody's got to be the villain, you know. We've been trying to beat him every race. We hadn't done it yet.
It's been something of a fairy tale spring for California Chrome, but every enduring such story needs a villain. In this case, there are 10, a field of contenders looking to deny history. But the fiercest opponent any horse will face today is the Belmont track itself, a 1.5 mile behemoth known as the test of the champion.
A lot of people here talking about, you know, it's one race for 1.25 miles, but then there's that last quarter.
Yeah, it's a long stretch after already being 1.25 miles. It's got to be disheartening looking down that thing. So everybody's going to have to run the race of their life, and he's going to have to throw in a clunker to beat him. No doubt about it. I mean, he shows up every time.
One challenger who could spoil Chrome's ride into history is Commanding Curve, whose late charge at the Kentucky Derby came up just short.
Back it up, packed on the outside. Commanding Curve is taking second.
What was it like watching that home stretch?
He showed that he can run with these horses. I think he showed that he's got that much talent. It's going to be a great fight. He's going to fight.
California Chrome's running 3 times in 5 weeks. It's something he'll never do again, and he hasn't done before. If he's a very good horse, he's vulnerable. If he's a great horse, he'll beat us all.
It's the culmination of a story millions will be watching. But will it have a happy ending? Or might someone else finish the day having written a different tale?
And, you know, among the challengers, Wicked Strong is home.
Oh, there's a lot to like about him. Speaking of home, he won the Wood Memorial at Aqueduct Racetrack in a fashion that led many to believe that he could win the Kentucky Derby. He headed down there as the second choice, and he had a little bit of a problem. We're going to see him first in that Wood Memorial. This is the kind of run that made a lot of people, including myself, feel that he had a chance to even overcome the favorite California Chrome when he got to Churchill Downs. But during the course of the race, as he hit the first turn, he's about 6, maybe even 7 wide going around that first turn, which cost him some links. again in the stretch, costing him some links. His horse he's swerving in and out in front of him. You know, had he had the perfect trip, maybe he could have beaten Chrome. Maybe he would have been closer, but he didn't have to run in the Preakness, so he's gotten some rest.
And Randy Tonalist has a recent win over the track.
He does, 4 weeks ago in the Peter Pan here. I'm a little surprised he's 14 to 1 the last time we saw the odds, because the Peter Pan win was impressive. He stumbled a little bit at the start, rushed up to the early lead, midway down the backstretch, and drew out on a wet track, you see, to win nicely. Maybe he's such a big prize today because he has the far outside post, number 11, which is a disadvantage. For that reason, they may employ the speed out of the gate. He might be a pace factor.
Well, let's talk about some of the other challengers now, starting with Lafitte.
Tom, 5 times runners-up in the Kentucky Derby and Preakness Stakes have come back to spoil bids in the Triple Crown. For Commanding Curve and Ride on Curlin, they'll be trying to do just that. Commanding Curve was impressive in the Kentucky Derby, closing from 18th of 19th to finish 2nd. He'll be closing. Ride on Curlin, contender, 7th in the Derby, improved to finish 2nd in the Preakness Stakes, and today will be ridden by John Velasquez. Consider this. Victor Espinosa, California Chrome's jockey, has won 4 races here at Belmont Park. John Velasquez, more than 1,600. That's second all-time, not to mention 2 wins in the Belmont Stakes. Let's go to Bob Newmeyer.
The city of Boston has adopted Wicked Strong. He's owned by local businessmen there and named, of course, in the aftermath of the 2013 marathon bombings. His trainer, though, is a New Yorker through and through, Jimmy Jerkins. His dad is Alan Jerkins, the giant killer, the master of upsets. Even beat Secretariat not once but twice. And should Wicked Strong and Jimmy Jerkins win this race, you might say it's like father, like son. Here's Mike Battaglia.
The General Ed Rod is a big long shot, but he's a long shot with a chance. In the Preakness, he was running right with California Chrome on the backstretch. As they moved for the turn, a tiring horse stopped in front of him. He lost all his momentum, dropped back. Once he got clear in the stretch, he closed, and he closed pretty strongly. Today, the 10 post, Rosie Napravnik, if he gets a good trip, Donna, I think he could be a very dangerous long shot.
All right, there are spoilers in this field. Perhaps one of those could be Toneless, and there's 3 reasons for that. He had a big win over this track in his last time out. He's trained by Christophe Clement, who rarely appears in a Triple Crown race. This is only his 2nd time, but he told me this is the best 3-year-old he's had in over a decade, and he comes in here skipping both the Derby and the Preakness. 4 of the last 7 Belmont winners have taken that path to victory here. Let's go to Carolyn.
Well, Kenny, California Chrome's rags to riches story keeps getting richer for Steve Coburn and Perry Martin. Not only did they breed a horse for $10,000 that is now worth upwards of $10 million, but California Chrome has 2 full sisters. One is a yearling, they call her Little Sis, and the other one's a baby. She was born on the Super Bowl, and that's the one that Steve Coburn thinks is really special. Now, neither of these horses have racing names yet, but they are worth a whole lot more thanks to the success of their big brother, Tom.
All right, Carolyn, it's been a bonanza for the Chrome crew, but it hasn't changed them a bit as California Chrome is on his way. But in the meantime, horses are on the track for another $1 million race. This is the 113th running of the Manhattan Stakes. It's 1.25 miles on the turf, and here are the odds for the Manhattan. Seek again at 5-2, Grandeur and Imagining both at 9-2, 6-1, Rookie Sensation and Real Solution. The Manhattan when we return to Belmont Park.
The 146th running of the Belmont Stakes is brought to you by Ram Trucks, Guts, Glory, Ram. By U.S. Bank, all about serving you. Member FDIC. By Geico, 15 minutes could save you 15% on car insurance. And by Longines, official watch and timekeeper of the Triple Crown races.
Look at Belmont through the years there. And the wizarding world of Harry Potter. Diagon Alley opens this summer at Universal Orlando Resort. And don't miss the all-new experience. That's at the Universal Orlando Resort. California Chrome has already begun his trip over to the paddock at Belmont Park with quite an entourage with him as usual. And Steve Coughlin knows us sharing a moment. Art Sherman on his way to the paddock where he will tighten the girth on California Chrome. But the next race will be on the turf, and that's the $1 Million Manhattan, where Seek Again is the 5-2 favorite as Joel Rosario aims for his third stakes win today. Grandeur at 9-2, and here is Imagining with John Velasquez. He's won 3 of his last 4, including the Man of War here at Belmont in May.
And he's won half of his lifetime starts, which is outstanding in thoroughbred racing. Now, Joel Rosario had been riding Imagining in each of this horse's last 3 races. Rosario, wisely, according to the betting public, has switched over to the number 6 horse, Seek Again, the favorite.
Seek Again is the favorite with Joel Rosario. As the horses go into the gate, there's Seek Again, who began his racing career in England. This is his 3rd U.S. start.
We last saw Seek Again almost running down Wise Dan at Churchill Downs. Big effort. That's probably why he's the favorite. And then we have Grandeur with Hall of Famer Gary Stevens aboard. He's gotten 2 really good trips coming up the inside. It seems like he's comfortable there. Gary Stevens takes over, so look for him to try and skim the hedge and come up late.
1.25 miles on the turf, the $1 Million Manhattan Stakes. And with the call, here's Larry Colmus.
Thanks, Tom. One more to go into the starting gate. That's Chamois, one of the long shots here in the field, with Joe Bravo in the saddle, taking the outside stall. Goes in. They're all in line, ready for the start. Couple of them a little bit shaken up there, including Seek Again. Trying to settle down Seek Again in the gate. They're off in the Manhattan. 5-iron comes out running on the lead. Kaigun to the outside is away well, and Real Solution between those 2 now will take back off the pace and run in 3rd position early. Seek Again is 4th as they make their move for the first turn here at Belmont Park. And then comes Boisterous to the inside, and they're being followed by Imagining, who's saving ground in behind horses going into the turn. And then to the outside comes Chamois, who's racing about 10 lengths off the lead in the early stages here. Hey Leroy is next on the outside, and then comes Grandeur and Rookie Sensation. 24-1 was the opening quarter, and 5-iron's gonna just wing it now here on the lead. Iron has opened up almost a 10-length lead onto the backstretch, playing Catch Me If You Can. And running in 2nd position down the backstretch is Kaigun. A length and a half farther back, and they're followed by Seek Again. Real Solution Imagining has been switched to the far outside for a clear path. He's up in that 2nd flight, while that front runner is still 10 lengths out in front. Then Boisterous to the inside. They're followed by Chamois in behind them. The half mile was 48 seconds flat, and that pace set by an isolated 5-iron, who continues to race on a large lead into the far turn, still about 8 lengths out in front. Seek Again is running in 2nd. Kaigun put to a drive 3rd. Boisterous is 4th to the inside. Then Real Solution. Imagining is about 10 lengths behind as they start to catch up to 5-iron. Then comes Chamois. Rookie Sensation. Grandeur is 2nd last. Hey Leroy is the trailer. 5-iron will turn for home with a tenuous lead, and it's about to go away. Here comes a run from Kaigun. Kaigun on the outside to the front. Seek Again. Real Solution on the far outside is coming on now. Here's Real Solution. Kaigun fights on toward the inside. Seek Again. And then comes 5-iron, but they're coming down to the wire, and it's going to be Real Solution to win the Manhattan. Kaigun, a strong 2nd, and then a photo between Seek Again and a late moving Grandeur.
Well, Real Solution and Javier Castellano get the win in the colors of Ken and Sarah Ramsey, who had a turf win yesterday here at Belmont Park, a stakes turf win, and they were the leading owners in America last year. And Real Solution gives the Ramseys another big victory, and this one in a $1 million race. Javier Castellano aboard.
Jockey Javier Castellano, as you mentioned, Tom, took the initiative, turning for home. He was mid-back early, swung him out in about the 5 path to run down the front runners. Great turf racing. This is what you usually expect by turf racing. Patience and great finishes. Castellano getting his 3rd win in the stakes on the day.
Castellano will try to make it a 4-bagger, aboard Commissioner in the upcoming Belmont Stakes. How about 5-iron? He pulled out the driver on the backstretch. He really tried to steal it there and held on pretty nicely, but just couldn't get it done.
So Real Solution in the colors of Ken and Sarah Ramsey. He's the 5th horse ever to win the Arlington Million and the Manhattan. coming back to the winner's circle after taking the winner's share of this $1 million purse in the historic Manhattan Stakes, the 113th edition. So it's Real Solution and Javier Castellano, trained by Chad Brown, that win the Manhattan Handicap.
Triple Crown Moments, presented by GE Capital.
They're coming down to the finish. Can Smarty Jones hold on? Birdstone surges. Birdstone wins the Belmont Stakes.
It was 10 years ago, before 120,000 here at Belmont Park, that Smarty Jones went for the Triple Crown, only to be upset by Birdstone at 36-1. Our Triple Crown moment presented by GE Capital. Smarty Jones, of course, had plenty of fans, as the big crowd here, about the same as for Smarty, and many of the Chromies donning the nasal strips. A nice touch. And let's go to the payouts now for the Manhattan Stakes. Real Solution, who was third in this race last year, gets the victory this year and pays $13. Hagan was second, and Seek again wins the photo for third. A $2 exacta bet on 8-9 returns $186. So the fans all day have been staring at this row of Triple Crown winners that adorn the infield here at Belmont Park. The list of Triple Crown winners is 11. The big question remains to be asked, will there be a 12th by the time we leave Belmont Park tonight? Josh?
Tom, so many fans want to see an answer to that question. The caverns here at Belmont Park swelling today with well in excess of 100,000 people, and virtually everyone here, as well as so many millions watching at home, watching to see if California Chrome can run into Triple Crown history. But all too often we've seen that the champions who are chasing that history come up just short.
It is the essential nature of sport, separating winners from the losers. But in the quest for a Triple Crown, only one horse can win it all. All the rest just hope to ruin the party.
Down the stretch they go. We got a horse race now, but he's trying desperately to hold the lead.
11 times since Affirmed won the last Triple Crown in 1978. The gates have opened here at Belmont Park with one horse on history's doorstep, and then ended with an entirely different one in the winner's circle.
The whip is out on Smarty Jones. Birdstone surges past. Birdstone wins.
Trainer Nick Zito and owner Mary Lou Whitney's Birdstone crushed the Triple Crown hopes of Smarty Jones in 2004.
We were apologetic. Mary Lou did a great job. I think somebody threw a beer can at her. Believe it or not, I think she just waved.
Everyone loves Smarty Jones, but maybe they'll start loving Birdstone.
The casual sports fan was hoping to see history that day.
Right.
Is there a part of you that feels bad for them?
Not really.
Some horses are beaten by their competition, others by the track itself. Belmont's exacting mile-and-a-half has worn down some quests long before the stretch run, and others barely out of the starting gate. Victor Espinoza saw his first shot at a Triple Crown lost at the opening bell, as War Emblem's coronation turned instead into an impossibly good day for long shot Sarava.
The biggest long shot in the history of the Belmont Stakes.
Jockey Gary Stevens has not only been robbed of a Triple Crown on this track,
Touch Gold wins it, denying Silver Charger's Triple Crown.
he's done the thievery.
Real quiet, it's too close to call.
Believe me, these guys are going to do whatever they can do to try and win the race, but at the same time, I think pretty much all of them are rooting to see some history here.
While most gather today to perhaps watch history being made, it need be remembered that for the other 10 horses and their connections at this track, this race is just as important.
Hearts broken again in the final strides at the Belmont.
What might look like disaster and feel like disappointment is just a spoiler doing their job.
And just in the last 2 decades, that list of would-have-beens is an awfully august one. Take a look. Certainly kept headline writers busy. From Real Quiet and War Emblem to Sunnyside, Big Brown, and of course, Smarty Jones. Oh, those would be. What would have been. Of course, there's a chance today, and a real chance today, that the headlines that could be read will read like they did, Tom, back in 1973.
Of course, that was when the mighty Secretariat won the Belmont Stakes by 31 lengths to annex the Triple Crown. And Jerry, you know, there's not one single reason why we've had no Triple Crown winners. There's a variety of reasons, right?
Oh, Woody Stevens, who won 5 consecutive Belmonts, once said there's 1,000 ways to lose and only one way to win. And if everything goes right. We've had poor starts. We've had horses pulled up. We've had wide trips. We've had horses that just couldn't go the distance. And then there's some that just get outrun.
And then there was the most bizarre of all, the safety pin. In 1979, Spectacular Bid was thought to be Ascension in Belmont, but early the morning of the race, they found him holding his left front foot in the air with an industrial-sized safety pin embedded a ½ inch into the sole. He chewed it off one of his bandages overnight. They thought he was okay, but he went out, ran a shocking third, got a terrible ride, safety pin. Nobody knows how much it was hurting him, and he had no comment.
Well, California Chrome on his way to the paddock at Belmont Park. Already $6.8 million has been wagered on him to win. And co-owners Steve and Carolyn Coburn on their way to the paddock too. Anticipation building for the Belmont Stakes, and maybe a third triumph this Triple Crown season for California Chrome.
California Chrome shines right in the Kentucky Derby. California Chrome has won the Preakness.
Secretariat after his racing career at Claiborne Farm in Kentucky. There's the plaque honoring his Triple Crown in 1973, and that pole indicates the margin of 31 lengths by which he won the 1973 Belmont Stakes. Amazing. And Penny Chenery is here today. In fact, was at a party with the California Chrome folks the other night, enjoying herself. So Penny Chenery is here perhaps to honor another Triple Crown winner. Here are the current odds. California Chrome holding now at 4-5 with Wicked Strong 5-1, 7-1 Ride on Curlin, and Commanding Curve at 8-1. And when two guys from out west bought and bred a horse together for the very first time, success was a long shot, but they had enough determination to defy the odds, and they ended up with a Triple Crown favorite. Horse racing has long been known as the sport of kings, but now a new kind of royalty has emerged. California Chrome owners Steve Coburn and Perry Martin.
We're not multi-millionaires. We don't have super deep pockets that are filled with money.
Here's the California Chrome.
Yes, he's made us some money, but we're not wealthy people. My wife and I live in a 1,500 square foot manufactured home. I got up this morning. I went to work. I unlocked the shop at 6 o'clock this morning. How you doing?
Hey, all right.
Did you get to see the race?
Yeah.
Mama knows just like that. I'm a press operator. We make magnetic tape for credit cards, driver's licenses, many applications.
I have to describe myself as a working class guy. We test electronic products in an explosive atmosphere to see if it'll ignite it, if it'll blow up. My mom always said that I broke a lot of things when I was a kid, and now I've turned professional.
California Chrome arrives at Belmont Park.
I'm just a normal guy. California Chrome is no Kentucky blue blood. New York, we're here. As a matter of fact, I've never been to New York, never wanted to go to New York. I just want to know where that big monkey's at. But I'm going this time, and I'm going with the horse that's the favorite to win the Triple Crown.
While Coburn and Martin have always shared the same dream for their horse, they're very much opposites.
Perry Martin, he's the brains of Dumbass Partners. He's very intelligent. He laid out the game plan on this horse.
I worked on the breeding aspect, did about 8 months of research on pedigrees. Yeah, you guys are getting full. I'm getting tired of holding the bag. Steve does the PR. I'm not sure why we need PR, but he's always out there promoting.
I am part owner in California Chrome. The racehorse has won the Kentucky Derby and the Preakness, and we're going to try to bring it home and finish it up right here in good old New York City. How's that sound? Perry Martin and myself, we were into our savings and into our retirement. And we were right there trying to figure out, what's next. Then this horse started winning.
They're off in the Kentucky Derby. California Chrome is pulling away.
Winning the Kentucky Derby was just phenomenal.
California Chrome has won the Preakness.
Winning the Preakness is fantastic. Winning the Triple Crown, I just hope my heart can take it.
He's going all the way. We're going with him.
He basically brought all of America, the working class people, together because you know what? We're working people.
He's got a lot of heart. He's got a lot of intelligence. I'm very proud of him.
We're paying the bills, but this is America's horse.
He's everybody's horse now.
Well, he is everybody's horse. You see all the people here donning the chrome attire. And, we've talked so much about what a grind the Triple Crown campaign is. How can you tell if a horse has fatigue?
It's almost impossible, Tom, especially with the really good horses. How much energy level they have from one race heading to the other. Even working them out in the morning as a jockey was hard for me to tell because they never really reach race speed. Imagine yourself in a car with no gas gauge. You get in there and you start driving, and at first you feel pretty comfortable how much gas you have left. But the farther you go, the more uncertain you become. So when you push that pedal, is there going to be any gas left? And that happens in the Belmont, usually about the top of the stretch.
The biggest problem is it's a horse. If it was LeBron James, you just ask him and he might say, man, I'm tired. I need a couple of weeks off. With California Chrome, you just have to guess looking at his enthusiasm level and his weight, which seems good. So we won't know his fatigue until he gets to the top of the stretch, but at least we know he doesn't need air conditioning.
Well, the people around him say he can do everything but talk. He's that intelligent. Let's go to Bob Costas.
All right, Tom, Victor Espinoza on the cusp of a great achievement. You have been here before with War Emblem in 2002, stumbled coming out of the gate, finished 8th. You've said that California Chrome is a more versatile horse. Why do you feel better about his chances?
The way he runs, he's more talent horse. He's really likes to run any position that I can put it on. So for that, I got a little bit more confidence this time. The War Emblem was front runner, just one way to go, to the front. And California Chrome, I can put it whatever I want and just have a really, really strong kick in the end. So that's what I like about it.
Most of your career victories, better than 3,000 of them, have come in California. You haven't had much success on this track at all. Does that matter coming in?
It doesn't matter to me. I don't think about that. I'm looking forward to this and performing our best and with California. I never, look my bad records. I always look my good record. And hopefully today, if California Chrome, he can help me out to be able to run his race, and I think we'll be in good shape.
You have always been a very respected rider, but there's a sense that your career has been revitalized over the past several weeks. Do you feel that too?
No, not at all. I started in the bottom, and when I'm hitting the bottom too, I'm the same. So I think for me, it's why I never think about when I'm in the little bit slump. But when I'm in top, I'm in heaven. when I'm down, I'm still the same.
Well, if it happens today, you would be the oldest jockey at 42 ever. Art Sherman, the oldest trainer at 77 ever to win the Triple Crown. Maybe good things come to those who wait.
I hope so. Crossing my fingers.
All right, Victor, thanks very much. And in fact, here are the owners, Coburn and Martin, taking a look at California Chrome along with Art Sherman. The bid for the Triple Crown coming up.
If you can make it there, you can make it anywhere. New York. And a New Yorker from Queens, as a matter of fact, performing a few moments ago here at Belmont Park, at full volume, I might add, LL Cool J, to the appreciation of the fans at Belmont Park. And there's the paddock scene here at Belmont Park as we rejoin Bob Costas.
Well, Tom, although his job calls for him to focus on the Stanley Cup final, which continues tonight at the Staples Center in Los Angeles, Eddie Olczyk's other passion is horse racing. And in fact, he is such a good handicapper, he hit the trifecta 3 weeks ago at the Preakness. So, Eddie, while we know you're preparing for Rangers and Kings Game 2 tonight, you're also keeping an eye on what's going on at Belmont. How do you see the race?
Well, Bob, thanks a lot for having me. And yes, I am. I'm keeping one eye on the monitor over here and getting ready for Game 2 here between the Kings and the Rangers. This is going to be a jockey's race for sure. It'll be interesting to see where California Chrome ends up coming right out of the gate. There's quite a bit of speed in this race. Samurai and Totalis are the two horses I think California Chrome has to worry about. But for me, I like Wicked Strong. I think he's going to be able to sit behind California Chrome and beat him to the punch the last eighth of the mile and win the Belmont Stakes this afternoon.
So he picks Wicked Strong to win. Therefore, you're saying no Triple Crown. But suppose California Chrome does it. As someone who's followed this sport closely since you were a little kid, what would a Triple Crown winner mean to you?
Well, I hope he does do it because I think it's great for the game. We get a lot of people that cross over from other sports in all walks of life, Bob, to be able to see history in the making, to be a horse that hasn't done it in 36 years, to be able to do it. And you love the stories. You guys have been doing it all day long. It would be great for the game. And for somebody that's an advocate of horse racing, I'd love to see him do it. But he's not going to get any of my money today.
All right, Eddie, thanks. We know you'll be watching us, and then later we'll be watching you with Game 2 of the Stanley Cup Final. Now, as impressive as California Chrome may be, there's still, as Eddie Olczyk just indicated, a pretty good chance that by nightfall it'll be 36 years and counting since a horse has captured the Triple Crown. But that's precisely what makes this circumstance so distinctive. Sports offers no shortage of exhilaration.
Unbelievable at the end! He's done it!
But there's also its counterpart, the disappointment of defeat. Watching someone else walk off with what you saw. That's the way it works in virtually every arena. Even if your team can't bring back the trophy, well, someone else will. Except that is in this case, where the Triple Crown trophy has remained unclaimed for 36 years. And as the possibility of that long streak ending arises yet again, the singularity and significance of the challenge is as clear as it gets. Since 1978, more than 1.3 million thoroughbreds have been born. And every year, a new crop of three-year-olds emerge with a fresh chance at the sport's undisputed pinnacle.
California Chrome shines bright in the Kentucky Derby. California Chrome did it. The Triple Crown awaits in the Belmont Stakes.
And during springs like this one, when not just a racehorse, but a story emerges, millions find themselves captivated by a sport they normally don't pay much attention to. And the focus turns to a mile-and-a-half race where the unique narrative pits the prospective best against all the rest. Does racing need California Chrome to win today? Well, actually, no. What racing truly needs is what it once again has. A horse with a genuine shot at this trophy. A trophy that will maintain its mystique, no matter what happens today at the Belmont Stakes.
Welcome back to Belmont Park, where the horses have begun walking to the paddock in preparation for the Belmont Stakes. The horses and their connections on the way over. Let's go to Bob Newmeyer.
With Art Sherman, let's talk a little strategy. How'd you like to see the race unfold, Art?
Well, I think being in the two-post position has been good on the inside. I think I'm going to be close up. I don't know if I'll be on the lead, but I think I should be no worse than third down the backside.
There are hundreds of thousands of people, maybe millions, rooting for your horse today. Does that ratchet up the expectation and the pressure?
Well, it's the horse got to do the running, you know what I mean? I know. I just think that it's got to be a jockey's race. Victor knows the horse. With all the expectations on this horse being the favorite and all, I got good feeling about the race completely.
Last minute feeling before the moment in hand, Art.
All right. Well, I just wish everybody a safe race. All right. Art
Sherman, Lafitte Pinkai III.
They're with Rick Violet, trainer of Sam Rott. Rick, you ran well in the Derby. Fifth, defeated just over 5 lengths. What does he need to do today in order to make up the difference, improve enough to defeat the likes of California Chrome?
Well, I think he has to relax for sure. I don't think if you get it on the bridle too aggressive, I don't think that would, help us get the extra quarter of a mile. But the pace will suit him. It's going to slow down a little bit. And he's a bit of a galloper. He's a bit one pace sometimes, but that lends right into what can be the right suit for today's race.
10 years ago, we watched Birdstone defeat Smarty Jones as he bid for a Triple Crown. Owner Mary Lou Whitney, jockey Edgar Prado. They were apologetic. Do you have any reservations whatsoever? Would you have any remorse whatsoever if it was your horse that denied California Chrome the Triple Crown?
Not really. It's a terrific story. They're great people. He's a great horse. But this isn't the Tour de France. The last day isn't just a procession. He's got to beat us all.
Good luck today, Rick. Let's go to Donna.
I'm with Dallas Stewart, commanding curve, second in the Kentucky Derby, and then you skip the Preakness. Why skip the Preakness?
Well, we just thought we'd give him a little more time and focus on this race, and he's trained very well, and we're getting ready to find out if it's the right move.
California Chrome, you couldn't get past him in the Kentucky Derby. Can you get by him today?
Well, a little extra ground, and I think we're a little better than when we ran on Derby Day, and that's what it's going to take.
All right, Dallas, good luck to you. Let's go to Mike Battaglia.
With Billy Gowan, trainer of Preakness runner-up Ride on Curlin. And Billy, a little over a year ago, you were struggling, really thinking about might have to get out of this game. But at that point, could you even imagine walking over here with one of the best 3-year-olds in the country?
No, I mean, I really can't. But I tell you what, it just gives trainers hope. If you got a 2-year-old heading start, it shows you what kind of hope and, anything can happen.
And this horse has been so amazing for you. What would it mean to you to win a Belmont Stakes?
Oh, it'd mean everything in the world. I mean, that's what we get up for every morning. So.
And you've been very vocal about you said that if they boo you, you don't mind as long as you get to see the trophy. So you don't mind being a villain?
I want to hear some New York booing.
You want to hear some New York booing?
So bring it on.
Good luck, Bill. Let's go to Kenny Rice.
All right, thanks, Mike. Christophe Clement doesn't do this much. This is only his second Triple Crown race ever. More than a decade ago he was here. Now he comes in with Tonalist. Obviously, you feel pretty good about him to be running a 3-year-old in a dirt race. You're no more for the grass races.
Absolutely. He's been a nice horse. He had a very nice race last time. And it's a bit ambitious, but we will find out how good he is.
He starts out at the 11, the outside post. What difference does that make in the instructions you'll be giving?
Very few instructions. We are using a top jockey, Joel Rosario. And the good news is he will be in the gate last. And he's got a huge stride. He should not have any interference until the first turn. And to be up to the jock to decide what kind of trip he wants to give him.
And he may be putting some pressure on Chrome early.
Yeah, but that's up to him. I think as long as he's comfortable wherever he is, as long as he's comfortable, then we'll be fine.
Good luck. Let's go to Josh Elliott.
All right, Kenny, I'm here with Rosie Napravnik. She'll be up on General A-Rod today. Rosie, this is a horse you know well. You rode him his first race out. It was a horse you rode to a win in that race. You're back up on him now. What do you like about him?
I'll tell you what, I like this horse since I sat on him that first day, and I've been waiting for the chance to get back on him. Hopefully today is going to be his day because he's had a rough Triple Crown trail with some rough trips. So hopefully we can get him a good trip today and he can show really what he's made of.
A little late to the holding barn. He's on his way now. How has he been training these last few days?
I breezed him back before he came to Belmont, and he breezed excellent.
You've seen California Chrome now twice on the big stage. What's it going to take to beat him here today?
He's been very impressive. I think today it's going to be all about trip. And I don't think the 2 or myself in the 10 is a really favorable position. But if we can get a better trip than California Chrome does, we can beat him.
As you well know, anything can happen over a mile and a half. Bob?
Okay, Josh, thanks. John Velasquez is aboard Ride on Curlin. First time you had ridden him. What have you seen in the earlier Triple Crown races?
Well, unfortunately, he's been a little too far back in those races. It seems like he had to make up a lot of ground to get there. And it seems
closing ground fast at the end of the Preakness.
Yeah, that's right. But it seems like he's making too much ground. He doesn't get there. Hopefully today in a mile and a half we have more ground, and hopefully it's not too far back that he can get there right on time.
You've made your reputation here at Belmont Park. More than 1,000 career wins here. Does that factor in today?
I hope so. I mean, I hope to respond for the things I want to do, and hopefully counts for one more.
Almost everybody in the stands is going to be rooting for California Chrome. Usually you're a favorite here. How does it feel to be in the role of spoiler?
I'll be very happy just to be the spoiler and to be the winner there, and then I'll feel sorry afterwards.
John, thanks. Good luck.
Thank you.
All right, not everybody, as we said, at Belmont Park is interested in seeing a Triple Crown today, though, of course, the likes of John Velasquez are in the distinct minority. We're coming back.
46th running of the Belmont Stakes is brought to you by Mercedes-Benz. Experience truly great engineering today at your authorized dealer. By GE Capital, what we know can help you grow. And by Longines, official watch and timekeeper of the Triple Crown races.
Aerial coverage provided by Goodyear, the odds-on favorite for superior performance. Goodyear, more driven. Well, the Belmont Stakes horses are in the paddock, and so are many onlookers, connections and onlookers here, including the favorite California Chrome. California Chrome normally unflappable, 4-5 favorite, holding at that price throughout most of the day. It was 3-5 on the morning line. He's 4-5 now. As you see the complete look at the odds with Wicked Strong holding as the second choice at 5-1. California Chrome is the second horse ever to top $8 million bet on him to win in the Belmont Stakes. Marty Jones had $9.1 million bet on him. As the jockeys leaving the jockeys room, heading down to the paddock where they'll get final instructions and a leg up on their mounts for the Belmont Stakes. So let's meet the jockeys for the 146 Belmont Stakes, brought to you by Mercedes-Benz.
Robbie Alvarado, Metal Comp.
Victor Espinosa, California Chrome.
Joe Bravo, Matterhorn.
Sean Bridgermahan, Command and Curve.
John Velasquez, Ride on Curl. Mike Smith, Matuzak.
Jose Ortiz, Samba.
Javier Castellano, Commission.
Rajiv Mirage, Wicked Strong.
Rosina Pravnik, General A-Rod.
Joel Rosario, Tonalist.
Those were our Mercedes-Benz jockey introductions for the 146th Belmont Stakes. Well, it's been 36 years since the last Triple Crown winner. Do you remember 1978? Here's a little refresher.
Our individual fate are linked. Our futures intertwined.
And a little more perspective, our broadcast team back in 1978. Carolyn Mano wasn't even born. Ouch. Those photos should be censored. All right, time has come to pick the winner of the Belmont Stakes. Looking forward to see the picks for you. Jerry, lead it off.
My heart's with Chrome, but I think because of the rest and the way he's been training here leading up to Belmont, I'm going to go with Wicked Strong. I think he runs him down late.
Another vote here for Wicked Strong. Keep those tweets and emails coming. Donna, what do you think?
California Chrome. Like everybody else, I'd like to see a Triple Crown winner. So you know what? I would rather pick him and be wrong than pick against him and be right. Kenny, who do you like?
Yes, Donna, for posterity, because they'll pull this tape out 36 years from now. Plus, he's done better than anyone else so far. I go with California Chrome to do it today. Lafitte, who do you like?
Kenny, we have gone 13,147 days without a Triple Crown winner. There will not be a 13,148th. Chrome rolls. Josh, who do you like?
Lafitte, I'm with Donna and Kenny. It won't be an easy race, but this is an easy pick because it's for posterity, and I don't want to be on the wrong side of history. Put this California kid down for the two-horse California Chrome. Carolyn?
Everybody needs something to believe in. I believe in California Chrome. He's become a symbol of the everyman. I just want him to win. Let's see what our handicappers think.
I saw Tonalist win in Florida. I screamed from the mountaintops, he will win a Triple Crown race, so I'm sticking to my guns. Tonalist, he's got the home course advantage. Won here about a month ago in impressive fashion. Joel Rosario on fire, presses the pace outside. 10 or 11 to 1. Tonalist is my pick.
I agree with the press and the pace part. I heard a lot of Chromes in those picks. I know that. I think when they turn for home, Chrome's going to be in front. I'm taking Wicked Strong. I think he can run by him in the stretch. He loves this track. He's been here. This is his home. He ran great in the Wood. He had a little trouble in the Derby. I'm going for Wicked Strong, and I think General A-Rod will be there at a big price.
Which means that because Mike and I are not picking California Chrome, he is a cinch to win the Triple Crown.
Yeah.
Tom?
Can you say hard-headed? They didn't pick California Chrome in any of the Triple Crown races. Victor Espinosa with a smile for Art Sherman. He'll be getting a leg up on California Chrome before long. We'll be back. At the Staples Center in Los Angeles, the opposing goalies tonight arriving at the arena. Lundqvist of the Rangers and Quick from the Los Angeles Kings. Game 2 of the Stanley Cup Final coming up right after the Belmont Stakes. The Rangers and the Kings after the Kings won in overtime in Game 1. Recheck the odds now for the Belmont Stakes. California Chrome still at 4-5. 4-5 on California Chrome and still 5-1 on Wicked Strong. And that brings us to our Ram Trucks race preview.
Jerry Bailey here won a couple of Belmont Stakes, so I asked him, how would you ride California Chrome today? And well, this is your strategy.
Yeah, because he has speed, I would put California Chrome on the lead early. It's fraught with peril to try and work your way out in the middle of a turn to try and get outside horses, so I'd go right to the lead.
And we have Samrad and General A-Rod and Toneless chasing California Chrome early with Wicked Strong mid-pack at this point.
Now, this is assuming he breaks well and everybody's running their normal race. Going down the backside, Chrome should still have the lead, and I think he might have it by daylight, even with Samrat and General A-Rod stalking in close proximity.
And again, a move here would be way too early. We've already had that hammered down to us. So patience is the key. Relaxation is the key. California Chrome still in front, turning for home, but the posse is coming.
This is about the point where the closer should start taking a beat on California Chrome, and those would be Wicked Strong, Right on Curlin, even a horse like Toneless might be further back earlier if he doesn't break well and draw on a beat. But coming to the wire.
There's not much drama here because Gary and I have already given our picks just a few minutes ago.
Right.
Wicked Strong, California Chrome, Ride on Curlin, trifecta.
But I do think Chrome will hang in there very, very tough, and it won't be apparent till deep stretch.
That was our Ram Trucks race preview. So they both picked Wicked Strong to win the Belmont Stakes. There's an aerial view of the paddock scene here at Belmont Park. And there's the center of attention. California Chrome still at 4-5 as the favorite.
Can you get any more laid back with 100,000 people? I mean, that's one of his strengths. We've said it all along. And he looks like an old cow standing there.
Everything this spring has gone exactly like you would plan it for California Chrome. You know, the wins in the races, the way the races unfold, the training once he got to Belmont, even this, to be this calm, maybe the stars are aligned for this horse, because this is exactly what you'd want to see.
And applause for Steve Coburn, who waves his trademark Stetson. His wife Carolyn just to his left.
Even that doesn't bother California.
No.
He's used to Coburn's act by now, right?
If you watch his ears, he's just listening and taking it all in. As we've said before, he's so curious. When he goes to the racetrack to train in the mornings, he might stand there for 5 minutes, taking in the scene before he goes onto the track to gallop around. So he's very intelligent. Victor Espinosa says he even puts one ear in his direction during the running of the race so he can hear Victor to give him the instructions as the Go Chrome Go. Jam-packed Belmont Park with the chant of Go Chrome Go. Everybody identifies with his story and the story of his owners, his trainer, his jockey. America's fallen in love with this horse, and can he pay it off with a victory today in the Belmont Stakes to become the 12th winner of that elusive Triple Crown? Secretariat did it in 1973. No one will ever accuse this horse of being Secretariat, but he is a chestnut, and a striking one at that, with all the chrome on him. That's what they call those white markings around the racetrack. 4 white stockings and a big blaze down his face. He shines like a shiny new penny in the paddock as we join Belmont track announcer Tom Durkin.
Racing fans, please turn your attention to the paddock as the last 3 Triple Crown winning jockeys, Secretariat's Ron Turcotte, Seattle Slew's Jean Cruguet, and Affirm's Steve Coffin, give the command for Riders Up.
Turcotte, Jean Cruguet, and myself, we'd like to say how excited we are to be a part of this great event, the Belmont Stakes of 2014, and we'd like to wish all the horses and riders in the race a safe trip. And you ready?
Riders up.
Good. Okay.
And the cheer from the crowd as the command riders up, and Victor Espinoza takes his place in the saddle. Steve Coburn, all the attention. He predicted a Triple Crown. Now he's going to see if it will all pay off here in the Belmont Stakes. And meanwhile, the horse, the center of attention, is again taking it all in. He doesn't seem to be bothered at all. The unflappable California Chrome getting ready to exit the paddock. Let's rejoin Tom Durkin.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Frank Sinatra Jr. as he sings his father's timeless hit, New York, New York.
My little town blues are melting away. Gonna make a brand new start of it in old New York. If I can make it there, I'll make it anywhere. It's up to you, New York, New York.
Now time for the call to the post for the 146th Belmont Stakes. There is California Chrome exiting the paddock and heading into the tunnel that leads to the track, and the fans lining the rail there to get a glimpse of their hero. Steve Coburn's sister died of cancer at age 36. He was foaled on her birthday. He says he has a guardian angel looking over California Chrome. Getting ready to make his appearance on the track. Let's go back to Tom Durkin.
Racing fans, please welcome the horses to the track for the 146th running of the Belmont Stakes.
As he makes his first appearance, listen to the crowd.
And when you walk through that tunnel as a jockey, the wall of noise that you hit is unbelievably loud, especially a favorite like California Chrome. Well, for Victor Espinoza, this is the time to just soak it all in. He's got a couple of more minutes before he actually has to start the warm-up, so I'm sure he's appreciating the moment.
Is he as unflappable as his horse is?
Yeah, you know, that's his demeanor. I mean, he doesn't let a whole lot of things bother him. Self-proclaimed, he has no plan, so I don't think there's going to be too much to worry about at this point.
He said that the other day, I never have a plan.
There's the scene. Look at the fans crowding down to get a glimpse of California Chrome. Chance to make history today, and a chance for all these fans, 120,000 or so of them, to see that history being made if he can win the 146.5-mile Belmont Stakes. Number 1 is Medal Count. Spendthrift farm owner B. Wayne Hughes named this colt for his alma mater, USC, whose Olympic medal count exceeds all other colleges. Trained by Dale Romans, medal count was 8th after a rough trip in the Derby. Number 2 is California Chrome, homecoming for Art Sherman, who spent the first 7 years of his life in Brooklyn. Chrome and Victor Espinoza 6 for 6 since teaming up. 3 is Matterhorn, one of 2 trained by Todd Pletcher, who set the all-time earnings record last week, named for the Swiss Peak that was first climbed in 1865, 2 years before the first Belmont Stakes. This Matterhorn 4th in the Peter Pan. 4, Commanding Curve, a closing second in the Derby at 37-1. One of the West Point investors, a baseball fan, so worked a curve into the name for the son of Master Command. 5 is Ride on Curlin. 2-time Belmont winner John Velasquez aboard the Preakness runner-up, beaten a length and a half, the closest anybody has finished to California Chrome this year. Number 6, Matuzak. The late John Matuzak won 2 Super Bowls as a Raiders defensive end. Belmont and Mike Smith teamed up with Drosselmeyer to win the 2010 Belmont, and of course Smith won on Palace Malice last year. Number 7 is Samrock, 5th in the Derby, the best New York-bred Triple Crown hopeful since Funnyside was beaten here in the Belmont Stakes, going for the Triple Crown 11 years ago. Number 8 is Commissioner, second Pletcher-trained horse, runner-up in the Peter Pan. He has 4 Belmont Stakes winners in the first 3 generations of his pedigree, including his sire, A.P. Indy. Number 9, Wicked Strong, named for the survivors of the Boston Marathon bombing. Second betting choice in the Derby, where he ran 4th, with cotton in his ears today to muffle all this noise. Number 10, General A-Rod, has danced every dance in the Triple Crown. He was 11th in the Derby, 4th with a rough trip in the Preakness. Rosie Napravnik aboard today. The only other time she rode him, they won. And number 11, Tonalist, 2 wins and only 4 career starts. The most recent, a 4-length romp in the Peter Pan Stakes on this track. The name, a style of landscape painting, mixing colors and tones. Joel Rosario seeking his first Belmont Stakes victory. So there's your field for the Belmont Stakes. Who will win it? Will Victor Espinoza be able to get there as they follow the race for the Triple Crown? Espinoza says he has no plan, but he has the favorite. Art Sherman would be the oldest trainer ever to train a Belmont Stakes winner. The owners, Steve Coburn and Perry Martin, enjoying their Triple Crown run. But now, as they embrace, it's all up to their horse. It's all up to California Chrome. Can he become the 12th winner of racing's Triple Crown?
Time for traffic and transit on the button. We'll have some heavy traffic on the Grand Central Parkway westbound from LaGuardia down to the Tri-Borough.
It arrived earlier this week at Belmont Park. 3 silver faces representing the 3 jewels, engraved with the details of just how difficult it is to attain.
Seattle Sioux still the leader. Turner Byrne battling back along the inside.
The Triple Crown Trophy has come to New York 12 other times since 1978. Each time, it's been returned to its case, unclaimed.
We'll test these 2 to the wire. But he's trying desperately to hold the lead. The Triple Crown will go unclaimed.
Now, it's California Chrome's turn to race for a piece of history.
California Chrome shines bright in the Kentucky Derby.
And the culmination of a tale with an unlikely cast of characters, hoping for a different kind of ending than this sport has grown accustomed to.
The Triple Crown awaits California Chrome in the Belmont Stakes.
We know what millions are hoping for. We just don't know for sure what to expect. But we're about to find out. The 146th Belmont Stakes, a bid for racing's Triple Crown, is just moments away. As a sun-drenched afternoon turns to early evening and what could very well be a record crowd here at Belmont Park anticipates the race, which is now just minutes away, consider this for no other reason than it amuses me. There are sophisticated handicappers, and then there are millions of you who do it based on a birth date or your Aunt Matilda's name or whatever it might be. So try this on for size. The last 3 Triple Crown winners, all in the 70s, all happened in years when teams in team sport championships from New York and Los Angeles met for the title. 1973 Secretariat, Knicks and Lakers in the NBA Finals. 1977 Seattle slew Dodgers and Yankees in the World Series. 1978 affirmed Dodgers and Yankees again. Who's going after the Stanley Cup right now? New York and Los Angeles. Game 2 later, the Kings and the Rangers. Is that an omen for those who bet on California Chrome? We're about to find out here in New York. Take that to the bank, or not. Tom?
All right, well, omens abound, Bob, and that's just another one for 4 to 5. California Chrome, as we see favorites to long shots. And California Chrome is now the most heavily bet Triple Crown hopeful ever. More money bet on him than any other horse going for the Triple Crown, something above $9 million.
6 months ago, this horse couldn't win a stakes race for California breds in California. Now he stands on the cusp of Triple Crown immortality. It's amazing.
You know, you pray as a jockey that your horse stays relaxed going up into this race, especially in it. I'm almost worried he's too relaxed right now. I mean, this is too good to be true.
Art Sherman, 77 years old, came with swaps in 1955 as a stable hand to win the Derby. Steve Coburn and his wife Carolyn, co-owners. And Perry Martin, you don't ever hear quite as much about him, but the man who planned out the run for California Chrome to get to the Kentucky Derby. And since then, why not keep going, as Steve Coburn said. Wicked Strong, is the cotton in the ears helping?
Yes, it has. I mean, he's a little bit more on edge than some of the others, but only fractionally. For him, this is really good behavior.
And right on Curlin. John Velasquez with his legs out of the irons, helping to keep their horse loose.
Just like Wicked Strong, you see just a little lather under the reins there, but this is a warm day, and they've warmed up a little bit here, so that's nothing unusual, nothing to be alarmed about. Right on Curlin, that tongue hanging out. He runs with that tongue hanging out the side of his mouth in all of his races.
And here's Tonalist.
He might be more on edge than anybody, but they're getting closer to the gate. The noise level is ramping up, so it's not a surprise that he is on his toes a little bit. And he will probably break and run fairly close to the pace, assuming it's a good break early in the race going into the first turn.
And we've pointed out California Chrome's occasional starting gate issues, nothing lately. So keep an eye on Chrome in the gate.
His ears sensing that the time is at hand. See, here's the crowd cheer, and the horses will go into the starting gate. Here's California Chrome, still 4 to 5 to win the Triple Crown.
They will double load for efficiency, the inside and the 1 and the 6, the 2 and the 7, and so on and so forth until they're all loaded for efficiency.
Well, listening to the outside post as Art Sherman looks on. Steve Coburn kisses Carolyn for luck. And Perry Martin watching from the grandstand. Ride on Curlin. Larry Comas has the call of the 146th Belmont Stakes and maybe the Triple Crown. Larry?
Thanks, Tom. And all eyes, of course, on stable number 2 for California Chrome as Tonalist takes the outside gate. They're all in line. We're ready for the start of the Belmont. Well, they're off in the Belmont Stakes, and California Chrome has a very good start. Samrod also up and after the lead, and Commissioner is close too as they race for the turn. General A-Rod is on the far outside. Now Victor Espinoza is going to get California Chrome to the rail in the lead, and an unexpected early challenge comes from Commissioner on the outside, and now Commissioner will take over, and California Chrome will be second early. General A-Rod is third to the outside. Wicked Strong is fourth. Then comes Metal Count fifth along the rail, followed by Tonalist. A 24 seconds flat opening quarter mile. It's 3 lengths back to Ride on Curlin, and then toward the inside comes Matterhorn, Commanding Curve, and at the back of the field, Matuzak and Samrod, and they make their way to the backstretch, and it's Commissioner who leads the way, and General A-Rod is second as they head on to the backstretch. Tonalist is third, and now California Chrome will be on the rail, and he's in behind horses. He hasn't been in this position yet in the Derby or Preakness. He's 3 lengths off the lead up the backstretch. Wicked Strong is ridden along to go with him. Then Metal Count to the inside, and they're being followed next by Ride on Curlin. They continue through a half mile in 48 2/5 seconds. It has not been a fast pace, and Commissioner continues to lead the way. General A-Rod is second, and Tonalist is third. California Chrome is fourth, and he's on the outside of Metal Count, and now Metal Count takes fourth. California Chrome has been taken to the outside now, and he's within 3 lengths of the lead as they run 3/4 of a mile in 1 minute 12 4/5 seconds. Around the far turn, Commissioner on the inside, General A-Rod, Tonalist. California Chrome is still fourth, but he is beginning to move on the far outside. Metal Count is behind them as Commissioner makes the lead to the top of the stretch. General A-Rod is second. Tonalist, California Chrome, he's on the far outside. He is 4 wide, and they're into the stretch. It's General A-Rod, Tonalist. Here's California Chrome on the far outside, and he's a furlong from immortality. He is up on the outside of Commissioner. Here's Wicked Strong in the center of the track. Commissioner, California Chrome on the outside. Tonalist, Commissioner. It won't be a Triple Crown this year. It's going to be close. It's going to be very close, and Tonalist got there. Tonalist has won the Belmont Stakes. He has defeated Commissioner. Wicked Strong and Metal Count were next, and California Chrome, in his quest for a Triple Crown, finishes 5th today at Belmont Park.
And you can sense the disappointment, not only of the California Chrome connections, but as of the fans here that came to see perhaps history being made. There will be no Triple Crown one more time. The 20th horse all time to lose a Triple Crown bid in the Belmont Stakes. And applause from Art Sherman, always a gentleman. Steve and Carolyn Coburn. Victor Espinoza aboard California Chrome. Got him to the outside where he wanted him, it appeared, but he just did not have it in the stretch for the 1.5 miles. And it was the home team, Tonalist and Christophe Clement, a rare visitor to the Triple Crown, that gets the victory, and Art Sherman hard to hide his disappointment. Let's go to Donna with Victor Espinoza.
Victor, obviously not the outcome you were hoping for today. How is California Chrome?
A little tired. I thought he was gonna, when I turned him for home, I was waiting just to have the same kick like I always had before, and today he was a little bit flat down the line.
He was laying in a little different position today. You were fourth on the inside. He had to take a little bit of dirt. Did that bother him at all?
No, not at all. I was nice and comfortable in there, and I have a chance to move out, and when I move out, he just don't have that today.
Do you think it was the distance or just the tough campaign?
Well, I think it was tough for him. We ran all back-to-back races and different tracks and all with all these fresh horses. So.
But he feels good.
Yeah, he feels great.
Okay, thanks, Victor.
And there's a look at Tonalist and Joel Rosario, who spoiled the Triple Crown bid with a victory in the Belmont Stakes. Let's go back to Donna.
I'm here with Joel Rosario, who has upset this Triple Crown bid. But Joel, you won your first Derby last year. This time you win your first Belmont Stakes. How important is it to you win these kind of races?
Well, this is very important to me, like always, and here we are, this is the Belmont. So this is great, this horse, he did very good today, I, a little bit sad by California Chrome, want to hand him, If I not get beat, I want to, just get beat by him. But
yeah, I was going to ask you that. You seem a little bit like this is a bittersweet victory.
Yes, he's just kind of, big horse, and he just have a one long stride, and he just grinding, he just keep on going, keep on coming, and he got the job done today.
All right, thank you, Joel. All right, Tom.
Dead heat.
Well, it turns out that California Chrome has dead heated for 4th with Wicked Strong. So Tonalist the winner, Commissioner second, Medal Count third, then California Chrome and Wicked Strong dead heating for 4th.
Well, I actually thought Victor Espinosa rode a really, really good race. He eased Chrome back early. He set in the pocket. I was fearful the dirt might bother him. Evidently, Victor wasn't. And the horse didn't seem to be bothered by it. As they head into that massive turn, Victor eases California Chrome out around the eventual winner, Tonalist, losing slightly more ground, but not all that much. The proper move at this point, and it looked to me like he had the right move. He looked like California Chrome had enough to probably get home. But he's struggling right here.
See, we don't disagree often, Jerry, but I'm going to disagree about the ride. I mean, with an inside position and a very moderate pace, I think Victor Espinosa just should have gone on with it and taken the early lead and not put California Chrome in a position that he's been unsuccessful at throughout his career. Behind horses, inside of horses, repeatedly earlier in his career. He did not handle it well. And I fault Espinosa. I hate to say it. It may not have mattered. Maybe California Chrome, third time, 5 weeks, just didn't have enough gas left in the tank. But I think he should have gone on with it early and kept the inside position in front of the other horses and set the pace.
Well, that's debatable, but had Chrome thrown his head up, resented the dirt, not given some kind of run, I would have said you're absolutely right. But he made the move. It looked like Victor had him in the spot that he wanted. And if he uses him early, you run the risk of getting those repeated challenges. So, I mean, you're damned if you do, damned if you don't. And I thought he rode him okay. I just think that the campaign and the length of the race finally got to this horse.
Here he is on the outside. And just here comes up empty. Just does not have that closing burst. Meanwhile, Tonalist taking command of the race and going to victory.
And Commissioner, the horse bred so well for the 1.5 miles, a gallant second place after setting the pace, and look at the margin of victory. It's reminiscent of Victory Gallop and Real Quiet, except the Triple Crown wasn't at stake in this photo finish.
And so for the 5th time in 8 years, the Belmont winner did not run in the earlier Triple Crown races, as Steve Coburn and Art Sherman sense that this will not be their day. After that great run, 6 in a row, including the Derby and Preakness, comes up empty in the Belmont Stakes. So California Chrome, you see that white blazed face even in the darkness, coming back after dead heating for 4th in his bid for the Triple Crown. Meanwhile, Tonalist will enter the winner's circle, owned by Robert Evans, trained by Christophe Clement, the first Peter Pan winner to add the Belmont Stakes since 1992.
And ironically enough, Robert Evans' father owned Pleasant Colony, who was foiled in a Triple Crown bid in the Belmont Stakes in 1981. Thomas Mellon Evans.
Let's go to Kenny Rice.
All right. Thank you, Tom. It has been an incredible run for Steve Coburn and Perry Martin and all those with California Chrome. Throughout it all, Steve, it's been an amazing ride. What were your thoughts as they turned for home?
Well, I thought he was gaining ground, but he didn't have it in him, apparently. You know what? He's been in 3. This is his 3rd very big race. These other horses, they always set them out. They set them out and try to upset the apple cart. I'll never see, I'm 61 years old, and I'll never see, in my lifetime, I'll never see another Triple Crown winner because of the way they do this. It's not fair to these horses. that have been in the game since day one. I look at it this way. If you can't make enough points to get in the Kentucky Derby, you can't run in the other 2 races.
So if you had your way, you would say you got to run the Triple Crown, or you cannot come up in the Belmont and be a fresh horse.
That's right. It's all or nothing. It's all or nothing. Because this is not fair to these horses that have been running their guts out for these people and for the people that believe in them. For have somebody to come up like this is a coward's way out, in my opinion. This is a coward's way out.
So you think they came right after your horse and that was the plan, just like they have other potential Triple Crown?
Exactly. Our horse had a target on his back. Everybody else lays out one, or they won't run in the Kentucky Derby or the Preakness. They'll wait until the Belmont. You know what? If you've got a horse, run him in all 3. If you've got a horse if you've got a horse that earns points to run in the Kentucky Derby, those 20 horses that start in Kentucky are the only 20 eligible to run in all 3 races. This is the coward's way out.
Steve, I know it's a tough loss. We hope to see him down the road. All right, Tom. Obviously, strong statements here from the owner of California Chrome, Tom.
Yeah, some bitterness there from Steve Coburn. And, you know, the reason the Triple Crown is so tough is because there are arrested horses that take on the horse that has danced every dance. But not the Steve Coburn we have seen through the first 5 weeks of the Triple Crown. Meanwhile, California Chrome heading back for a bath after giving it his best.
Guts, Glory, Ram. By U.S. Bank, all of us serving you. Member FDIC. And by Longines, official watch and timekeeper of the Triple Crown races.
Coming up next on NBC, don't forget, from Los Angeles, Game 2 of the Rangers and Kings. Game 1 went to overtime, won by the Kings. So hockey, Game 2 coming up next here on NBC. Here are the payoffs as Totalist takes the victory and pays $20.40. He's a colt by Tappet from Selling Mist by Pleasant Colony, bred in Kentucky by Woods Lane Farm and owned by Robert S. Evans. Mr. Second Medal Count gets third, pays $13.20 to show. And the 11-8 $2 exacta pays $348. The dollar try $3,300. The dollar super $3,800 or $5,700 depending on whether you had California Chrome or Wicked Strong. Let's go back to the race.
Well, as they break from the gate, number 2, California Chrome, breaks in outward just slightly, but it's a pretty good break for him, and Victor Espinosa's jockey has many options. As the gates open, you can see slightly out of half of a stumble, but he's still in pretty good shape right here, and it's at this point Victor's looking out and kind of measuring what does he want to do. He instantly decides to take back, which will put him in a box, but I don't necessarily think that was the wrong thing to do at the moment.
And I do. They went the first quarter mile in 24.06 seconds. Only once in the last 6 years has the first quarter been that slow. Commissioner is not supposed to have the speed to take the track away from California Chrome. Commissioner goes to the lead. Look where he finishes. He's beaten in a photo. If California Chrome had been hustled to the lead, what do you think he might have done?
On the flip side, California Chrome, if he goes up on the inside, he's probably going to be challenged not only by Commissioner, but General A-Rod, who we figured might. Tonalist is going to come up on the backside. As a jockey, you can't determine that going into the first turn. You do what you feel right. You do what your horse tells you should do. Now, hang on a minute. If you told me going into the race that Victor Espinosa would be 2 lengths off the lead going into the far turn on the outside, would you have taken that?
I said right here, he loses.
I know you did right here.
Absolutely, he loses. He is in a spot right now where he has been historically unsuccessful throughout his career, and he's fighting him a little bit. He doesn't want to be down there, really.
It's totally unfair to criticize a guy thinking that he should have done this. He might have gotten chased into submission down the backside, a la Smarty Jones, and then we would have said, what the heck were you doing? Why didn't you ease back? I believe that he just was fatigued. He went a little wider than Tonalist, but not much. He saved more ground than Tonalist did on the first turn. So it's probably a wash there. He's just empty right now.
And probably frustrated.
As Randy said, we don't disagree often, but I can't kill Victor on this ride because I think it was a flip of the coin what he needed to do.
In some ways, it was the same blueprint he used in the Derby and the Preakness, wasn't it?
It was, and I was one that thought he should go to the lead going into the race.
In the Derby and Preakness, he got him to the outside. This time, he's stuck inside behind horses.
But eventually went to the outside, but had no kick in the stretch. Meanwhile, Tonalist is the winner of the Belmont Stakes. Upsetting California Chrome's Triple Crown run.
See what we have to deal with.
And looking forward to Game 2 of the Stanley Cup Finals, the Rangers and the Kings, coming up next. Let's take a look at the complete order of finish now in the Belmont Stakes. Totalist beating Commissioner by a head. What a race Commissioner ran right on the lead virtually the entire way, right next to it anyway. Medal count coming up to get third. Then California Chrome and Wicked Strong dead heating, and Right on Curlin was eased. Let's go to Bob.
All right, Tom, Anthony Bonomo, Chris Kay, and Dr. David Skorton from the New York Racing Association are here, as is the governor of New York, Andrew Cuomo, who will make the presentation of the trophy to Robert Evans, the owner of the winning horse.
Well, thank you, Bob. You know, New York State loves its horse racing, and this was a great, great race that we had today. I want to thank the New York Racing Association and all the owners and trainers who participated today. They say that Belmont is the longest track, and that makes it the sweetest victory, because it really is the test of a champion, and we have one here today. And it's my pleasure to present this trophy to Mr. Robert Evans.
Heavy enough to put right back down. First of all, Mr. Evans, congratulations. You understand, you're experiencing the exhilaration, but you understand the letdown because your dad owned Pleasant Colony, who won the Derby and the Preakness and then came up short in the Belmont.
Yes, I do. It was very quiet afterwards.
Steve Coburn, and perhaps in a moment of dejection, perhaps ill-considered, this is uncomfortable, but I need to ask you about it, said that if a horse does not have enough points to qualify for the Derby and then comes as a fresh shooter to thwart a Triple Crown bid, as he put it, that's the coward's way out. What's your reaction to that?
I don't think I have a comment on that.
A reasonable reaction, I would say. Let's go to Josh. Congratulations.
All right, thank you, Bob. I'm here with Joel Rosario, no stranger to a Triple Crown winner's circle. You won the Derby last year with Orb. You actually let go of the mount Right on Curlin, opted for Tonalist today. Certainly a good choice. Take us through in the stretch for home.
Yeah, I went to for home. He just, he just kind of one-pace horse, and I was in the good position on the outside the whole way, and he did good today. He just, when turning for home, he kind of, everybody comes to me. I kind of worry a little bit there, but finally he just pick him up, and they decided to, to ride it was my agent. We rode it right on Colin in the Preakness, and we decided to row this one. Christopher Clement, we ride a lot of horse for him, so I was really happy, with him, and thank you to Christopher. I think he did a really good job with this horse.
All righty, Joel, I know you have a race to go. Congratulations. Tom?
All right, Josh.
Thank you.
And so the range of emotions, Joel Rosario exulting in the victory by Totalist at the Belmont Stakes, and the opposite emotion for Victor Espinoza, as for the second time he loses the Triple Crown in the Belmont Stakes. Back at Belmont Park, where California Chrome's Triple Crown bid was thwarted by Totalist in the Belmont Stakes. So yet again, the Triple Crown trail ends in disappointment. But the last 5 weeks have been a delight, giving us a ride to remember and a chance, at least for a moment, to put aside racing's many problems.
This was the most electric atmosphere I've ever experienced at a racetrack. Even more so than Smarty Jones in 2004. It's a shame for those people who came to watch Chrome, all the Chromies, that they'll go home disappointed, but it was a fantastic day.
Great stretch run, but it's, again, proof that these kind of races are earned, not given. And it looked like he was going to earn it. He just came up a little short.
Let's go to Bob Costas.
Well, Tom, they came to see history, and once again, it was not in the cards, nor in the thousands and thousands of mutual tickets with California Chrome's name on them. Instead, it was Tonalist who spoiled that scenario, although we are guessing that the horse's conscience is probably clear. Our post-race coverage will continue on NBCSN, but here on NBC right now, we send you to Game 2 of the Stanley Cup Finals and Doc Emmerich. Doc.